Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 53.
Congratulations, you showed up. Give yourself a high five in celebration of your success. Welcome to the Cashflow Diary, where new and experienced investors come to take confident action towards their goals. Your host is a family man, a real estate entrepreneur, investor, coach, and instructor. As a master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow 101 game, he's inspired many to begin their journey into creating cash flow for themselves and their family. And now, here he is to offer you the tools required to earn the income desired. Your cash flow coach, Jay Massey.
Hello, welcome to yet another episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Massey. Glad that you are here. You probably noticed on the title today that there is no guest. So you are, quote unquote, stuck with me. Hopefully that doesn't bother you too much, because I've got some stuff I want to share with you. And it's obviously related to cash flow, obviously related to building your cash flow, because that's exactly what I want to do. I want to give you some extra tools, some extra information, and a way to take action so that you can move today to build your cash flow. Okay. Some of you have been listening a while. You email in, you call in, you text in, you do all kinds of things, and I appreciate that. And I want you to continue to do so. Continue to leave the reviews, continue to do all of those things. But the thing that I feel like we haven't quite yet done is made a tangible difference in your pocketbook and given you a way to do that. So we're going to talk about what that looks like, what that means, and more importantly, how you can begin to make sure that not only do you grow personally and professionally and mentally while thinking here, but we can actually help you grow financially in the sense of giving you a simple way to go out there and make stuff happen. Now, before we even get to any of that, though, we're going to deliver immense value. That's my goal. My goal is to deliver immense value because you give us your time, you give us your attention, and I want to make sure that I deliver and make sure that you that you want to keep listening. Okay, so a couple of things, though, for those of you, if you're joining us for the first time, if you're at a computer, feel free to go over to learninvestingnow.com. That's learninvestingnow.com. When you go there, put your name and email address in, you're going to get a free course on how that's going to cover an aspect of real estate investing or business that helps you move forward. And that's exactly what I want to do, is help you move forward. Additionally, some of you, what we're going to talk about today is very, very key. But some of you also know that the book it's almost here. So we haven't had a cash flow question in a number of episodes because the book is almost here, and I'm just so excited about it. I want to give you a quick and easy way for you to go get a sample of the book, a quick and easy way. So go get a pen. Something to write down with, or just take out your cell phone right now, turn over to the text messaging piece. So do that, and I will give you a phone number. You're going to send a very quick keyword, and what's going to happen is I'm going to send you a text message back, and we'll be in communication, and you'll follow the directions so that you can get a free sample of the book so that you can know, is this book going to actually be worth it? And I hope you say yes. But if not, then, that's fine. Worst case scenario, I know you'll learn something in the 2 chapters that you will get once you do this. So now that you've got your phone out, send the word sample, 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 to 949-682-3565. 949-682-3565. That's right. Just send a text with the word sample to that number, 949-682-3565. Follow the directions. And what's going to happen is going to automatically end up emailing you a copy of the first 2 pieces of the book. That way you can maybe, hopefully some of you will be just as excited as I am, because I definitely am quite excited about finally getting this thing through, getting the covers done. And I'm hoping, you never know. Is anyone going to like it? Is anyone going to read it? Will it make a difference? If you guys go out there and take action, I know it will, because I've put as much in there as I possibly could. It's 320 pages. We've got before and after pictures. We've got step-by-step directions on how to duplicate and grow your business, to mimic or even exceed what you heard that we've been able to accomplish. Because that's honestly what I hope many people do. I hope that you pick up the book and you do more than 11 transactions in 1 week, and you do more than hundreds of transactions in many different states, and you exceed the ability to have a number of units across like the US, and begin to do commercial stuff. I want that for you. That's my goal. And I'm hoping that the book will help you with all of those things. That's exactly what I want to see happen. So again, 949-682-3565. Send a text with the word sample to that number. Now, I'm also going to suggest, and you save that number, because occasionally there will be other things, even in this episode, with which you will be able to get free stuff and from. And so long as you have the number in there, all you got to do is pull up the number, send in the word, and you're going to get more free stuff. So make sure that you keep the number handy so that you have it as well. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're going to talk about something that's very important. We're going to talk about, inflation, taxes, and cash flow. And not necessarily in that order, but that's what we're going to talk about is inflation, taxes, and cash flow. Now, some of you may know what inflation is, but so that I want to make sure everyone's coming from the same page and understands why inflation is important to understand right now. And more importantly, the role real estate plays in helping you to deal with it. Inflation is simply this concept. So some of you can remember, say back in, I don't know, let's go with 1974. Happens to be a semi-random year, but not really. Year I was born, if you were wondering. I picked that year simply to give you a benchmark. At that time in the U.S., it cost about a dime to purchase a stamp. So if I had $1, I could mail a number of letters. I had a certain amount of utility. It purchased a certain amount of services and goods that $1 did. Now, my question to you today: how many goods or services, or how many letters can I mail with that same dollar today? On today's date, how many letters can I mail? Is it still 10? If the answer is no, then that's simply what I'm trying to say. Inflation isn't so much the price of something increasing as much as it is how much you have purchasing less. It's a term known as purchasing power, and I want to make sure that you understand it. So that dollar is the same. $1, in 1974 versus $1, today, it still looks very similar. It doesn't have to change overly drastically to be, different in terms of how it's printed and how it's made. And I'm sure there are different security features. The point is it's still considered an American US dollar. But what does it purchase? What does your dollar purchase? There was a time, if you were making, let's call it $50, $60, $70, $80, $100,000 in a year, it actually felt like you were earning a significant amount of money. There was a time when if you had $1 million net worth, it felt like a significant amount of money, like you were actually making some progress. There was a time when what you did before you went to college was you worked a summer job so that summer job could give you enough money to go to college. All of those things are things and relics, dare I say, of the past. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to be political. I'm trying to help you prepare and give you some tangible understanding while you may want to consider very strongly the things that I have to say in this particular episode. When it comes to inflation, it's not, unfortunately, something that you and I personally have the ability to control. Now, yes, we've got a new, chairman in the Fed, or I guess I should say chairwoman, or is it chairperson, or you know what I mean. So and that's good, maybe, or it could be bad. Either way, you need to know what to do, specifically when you are battling something you cannot directly influence or control. How do you prepare for more inflation? How do you prepare for less inflation? There are very specific strategies that you can use in real estate to help you with that. That's one of the hidden dangers. That's why we're mentioning it first. It's the one that's the most silent. When I was a financial planner, it's the one that was the most overlooked, and it happens to erode the savings of many. So here's what I'm really directly saying. A number of you may or may not have money sitting in a bank. When it sits in the bank, inflation rots the money. It makes it worth less. It's like if you sit bananas on the counter and you just let them sit there. Over time, they turn brown, mushy, and nasty. And therefore, you're stuck with rotten bananas, and all you can do is throw it away because they're no longer useful. Their utility has changed. And every day that goes by, this is what happens when your money fails to earn above what I call minimum wage. You should set a minimum wage for your money just like you do for your labor. Your labor earns a certain wage per hour, so your money should earn a certain rate of return that you consider to be minimum wage. All of these thoughts are very paramount in a lot of the decisions that happen on a daily basis, and I just want to share this information with you. Yes, I have a specific purpose. Yes, I'm driving to a conclusion. Yes, it involves you taking some action, and I hope you do. Many of you, I know you will, because we get the emails, and that's great. But I'm just trying to be very clear and very direct on this one, because it's just turning out to be so much more important every time. The other thing that I want you to just to be aware of is something called the adjusted gross income. Inside the U.S., that's part of your taxes. So right now, taxes could be something that's on your mind for various reasons, and you're feeling like you're paying more than you should, and you want a way to reduce that number. So here's 5 things that I'm going to tell you, 4 of which tell you how to get all of your money back from the government, and the 5th of which I will share with you, which helps you get access to other people's money that the government has collected. So here's my point. Well, what I mean is as follows. The tax code. Now, again, I'm not trying to be your tax guy, so verify everything I'm saying, and I think you'll be surprised. But there are 4 simple things you can do. 4 very simple things you can do. If you do any one of these 4 things, the government basically has written in the tax code, hey, we'll give you your money back. In fact, let's be very clear. The tax code, the reason it's so big is because there's basically from my understanding, there's 1, maybe 2 lines that simply say, all income is taxable unless otherwise specified. Now, the otherwise specified is really what's in the tax code. It's all the other ways to not pay taxes. Challenge is most of us don't read the book, and I'm not saying go read the tax code. By God, no. But what I am saying is go leverage the time and resources of someone who has, or hopefully has, and knows how to interpret it. Remember, it's data from information, then to interpretation. Knows how to interpret it so that they can give you sound advice on what to do. However, in very broad strokes, any one of these 4 things gets you your money back. You provide food. You provide energy. You provide jobs. And you provide housing. Any one of those 4 begin to give you favorable treatment under the tax code. When you begin to combine them, you get even more favorable treatment. They kind of stack up one on top of the other because you are providing jobs, you're providing housing. Specifically, if you happen to do value add multifamily or value add single family houses, you're providing jobs because you got to have contractors and rehabbers and all those types of things. And then you provide housing when you do when you hold a house and let someone use it. Now you're providing housing, whether that be commercial real estate, industrial real estate. You're housing a business, you're housing a person. You're letting other people use your real estate that you have title to for their benefit and enjoyment. And therefore, these things, whether it be business, whether it be residential use, they all qualify in various different ways, different codes, etc. It's your job not necessarily to be an expert in the tax code, but to know an expert who can help you maximize everything the tax code has available for you. Now, many of you say, well, I don't provide jobs, I don't provide housing, I don't provide food, and I don't provide energy. I understand. That's also very clearly why you're paying more in taxes than you can Not that you should. You should pay the taxes if you're not providing those things. But if you begin to change the facts of your life, you'll begin to change the taxes in your life, right? So those things can become different. You have a choice. You can provide one or more of those things. Now, the fifth thing that I was mentioning was how to gain access to other people's tax money. The taxes that are collected, how do you gain access to those? Those are typically called grants, and there are specific grants for many different areas and reasons. And, sometimes people ask me, why do I like, lower income housing? Because guess what? There are grants just for low income housing. And people can also ask me, why do I like multifamily buildings? Well, because there are grants just for multifamily buildings. Well, I bet you there's probably grants for that are low income multifamily buildings. You're absolutely right. There are many types of these things that are out there. The point that I'm sharing with you is I'm trying to tell you, these are the secrets, so to quote unquote, of how to manage and maximize cash flow. Because at the end of the day, you're doing lots of work to be able to generate and create that cash flow in the first place. And I want you to keep as much as you legally can. And these are things that are out there that maybe some of you, and I'm not saying you don't know these things. Many of you probably already do. But if you don't, I wanted to make sure that I brought it to you. That way I'm never guilty of not telling you everything that I can think of that might help. And obviously you can probably hear it in my voice. It's just that it came up, in a very serious way. And I was just like, you know what? I need to let people know just to make sure. I don't want to assume that you guys know. And you may not know, but if you didn't know, now you know. And more importantly, you know that you need to take action. You know that action is a definite component. Just knowing that these things exist does not change the amount of taxes you owe. It does not change the effect of inflation. It doesn't slow it down. It doesn't benefit you. It doesn't do anything until you actually physically put your name on title to some piece of property and you begin to own it and enjoy all of the benefits that go along with it. Now, that doesn't mean it's just that easy and that simple and boom, you're done. This is no 1995 overnight, voila type of thing. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just wanting you to understand that when it comes to buying and holding real estate, it's not the sexy thing to do. It's not what you see on TV because, you rarely hear about no one gets excited. Ooh, I got a $200 a month check. Although I can show you math as to why you should. People don't get really excited or impressed until you say, I got 100 units, 200 units, 300 units. Then they start listening. Well, the only way to get to the 100, 200s, or 300s is by starting with one. And that's kind of my goal, is to help you to expand and grow your portfolio. But I want you to understand why it's necessary. It's not just about money. There's so many things between providing jobs and providing clean, safe, affordable housing to people that need it at a time when it matters most. That's what you get to do. Now, we've talked a little bit about inflation. We talked a little bit about taxes, and real estate just happens to be one of the ways that, the tax code allows you to minimize those things. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to be looking for that. Then I want you to understand something. Just because you put your name or your entity's name on title, that doesn't mean you automatically get cash flow. It still takes work. First of all, you got to find the property, right? That's not just something you do in 15 seconds or less. I mean, now, yes, you've been trained on how to find food in the grocery store, although I still have a hard time. You send me to the grocery store for something as simple as chips, and it takes me forever just to find the stuff. Anyway, but once you do find it, then you got to figure out what is the opportunity and what is the action steps that I need to take to make sure that myself and my family or my investors can take advantage of the opportunity that is before me. How does that happen? How does that happen? What do I need to do? And it's not always clear. How do I get a team around me and make sure that the team is solid? How do I rehab this property and make sure that they know what they're doing and I'm not being overcharged and making sure that they did the work like they said they were going to do properly? Even more so when you're doing it long distance. How do I do all of these things? Because your backyard may not be the best place for your money. It may be the best place to live, but it may not be the best place for your money. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I've heard it time and again. Jay, shouldn't I start in my backyard? Well, the my question to you is why is that so important? Why is proximity that important to you? Because for most of us, you say, well, so that if something happens, you can watch over it. Like, okay, honestly, what are you going to do? Are you going to actually be the one going and swinging the hammer? You, even if you know how, you still shouldn't be. Not if you're going to build your portfolio large and run this like a business. The CEO doesn't go grab the hammer, you know? And I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to end up calling somebody to go fix it. At least that's what most people that I know who manage to do this well, that's what they do. They call somebody to go fix it. That's what I want you to do, obviously. That's what I believe you should do. Obviously, that's what I do. Yeah. You know, you're not going to often catch me with a hammer in my hand because I'm about to hurt myself, I'm sure. The point is, there are plumbers everywhere. There are electricians everywhere. There are people who you can get to know, like, and trust and make this thing happen regardless. And I want you to remove from your list of I can't do this because the property around me is too expensive. Now, I'm I don't know what to say. I'm just very passionate about this because it has managed to create such a difference. It creates such a different possibility once you allow these thoughts into your head and you let them germinate and see how using systems and strategies to go out there to combat the two things that are challenging, taxes and inflation and whatnot. So I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. So what does all that mean? It means just putting your name on title. The building doesn't produce the cash flow. Management has a lot to do with producing the cash flow. But the building in and of itself, just owning the building doesn't produce the cash flow. You got to make the building cash flow. You got to know what to do and how to do it and when to do it and with whom to do it to make it all work. All of those things come together. Here's my point. I want to let you know about a new service that we've started. We've started a brand new service that allows people to, we've been selling a few houses already to some of those who are in our inner circles and some of our programs and things of that nature. And I've been wondering when I should let the rest of you guys know, simply because there's a lot of you and there's few of us. And I just wanted to make sure that the team was as in place as they needed to be to make sure that we could service the needs for those of you who felt like you were ready to take that step. You're like, you know what? I've been listening for a while. I get it. Here's an easy way for me to do it. And that's exactly what I want to very stress here. As you guys know, it's knowledge, time, money, and credit. You get to leverage my knowledge, my team, and time, but with your money and credit. We're going to make it that simple so that you don't need physical credit in that sense. And we're going to talk about that. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to do, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to send another text message to the same number, 949-682-3565. And you're going to send the word property. Property. 949-682-3565. Send the word property. When you send the word property, here's what's going to happen. I've created an ebook. That ebook is going to go through a number of steps on how to successfully continue your buy and hold process. I've also created a bonus video. It's how to buy and hold property using none of your own money or credit. So after you're done using your money and credit, you're going to need to learn how to use OPM, other people's money and credit. Maybe you're already at that point. That's fine. And I'm going to show you 5 different ways to be able to still acquire property using none of your own money or credit so that you can go out there and continue to build your portfolio. And then I'm going to go give you a video that allows you to understand market analysis, all the ninja secrets, if you will, to understanding and breaking down a marketplace, to finding the opportunity, because opportunity isn't always apparent. Sometimes you have to dig. You got to pan for gold, as it were, and look for it and be able to understand, that's gold. And I know what I need to do now. All of those things are there. Additionally, of course, It's going to allow you to begin to receive our notifications when we have investor ready cash flow properties literally available, that the only thing that it requires is a down payment. And I'm going to explain that. Some of you may be asking, I think I said this already. Go to 949-682-3565. Text the word property to that number. Property, PROPERTY. 949-682-3565. Now, if for those of you that are international, that text number likely doesn't work. However, you're going to go to begininvestingnow.com. And if you're at a computer, feel free to do that too. Begininvestingnow.com. And either way, you're going to get both things. The question is only how fast. Obviously, I want you to move at the speed of instruction. The text message system is set up to respond faster. It'll get it to you sooner, quicker, etc. It'll be right there on your iPhone, iPad, Android device, whatever it is that you like to use, so that you can begin reading, begin learning, begin understanding, so that you are equipped to understand what is a good deal, why is it a good deal, and what all these terms and things that I am talking about right now on this episode, how it all makes sense, and more importantly, applies to you in such a way that you can begin to build cash flow. Because that's what we're about. I hope that some of you, if you've been on our webinars or you've been, in some of our coaching calls, you've been on these things and they've helped you, at least mentally be prepared to take action. So some of you may be asking yourself, well, why, Jay? Why are you doing this too? Why? I've heard of programs like this, and you're right. There have been many programs like this, similar. But I added something that I've seen time and again that I think makes the killer difference. And you'll be the judge. Your response will say, Jay, this is good, or no, it's not. And that'll tell me. I'm like, well, I guess they don't want it, or they have another way to build cash flow on their own. I mean, ultimately, you know your situation better than I do. But here's what I do know. I can help. We've helped others. And if you want the help, if you want to make it easy to acquire cash flow without having to necessarily leave your job or worrying about credit, then great. We're going to be here for you. Obviously the service isn't for everybody. We know that. But for those of you that are listening, and if you're listening this far, it's probably for you. You're curious. So let me do a quick job of describing it, and that way you can understand a number of the benefits. And then when someone from my office, if you have additional questions about any one particular property, they'll be there to assist you. And by the way, so that I'm very, very clear, you could call today and there's going to be property that, you'll be able to close or use and begin getting cash flow in within inside of 45 days. Now, so far, our track record hasn't taken that long for people to begin that process. That may not always be the case, because there could be, could come a time where a number of you call in all at once, but that doesn't mean we're going to not serve you. We're going to do our best to make sure that we hit our targets, our goals, and help you. So let me explain the why would I do this? I'm doing this not because I want more single family houses. I'm being very clear with you guys. I don't. In fact, I've sold nearly every single family house I have, because most of my team, my internal time, is best spent on multifamily deals, commercial deals, etc. But for most people who are trying to expand their portfolio and get started, you can't start there. And I've left a number of people behind trying to figure it out on their own, and that bothers me. That's honest. It bothers me that I can do something about something and I'm letting it sit there. So there's an opportunity that there's information that I've been given, and yes, I can give it to you just as a course, and that's great, but not all of you want a course, and some of you don't want to do it yourself, and that's fine. And then you're left to go somewhere else who may not cover all of these bases, and you may not have the necessary support and education ahead of time to understand everything. I'm not trying to call anybody stupid. I'm just saying my concern is making sure I cover all the bases, that I did the best I could with the resources that I have to make sure that everybody gets what they need to make this thing work for them. That's really what I'm after here. That's really what I want to do. I want to help. and I'm trying to be as genuine about it, even though yes, we'll earn money. I hope that doesn't get in your way of understanding that I'm genuinely wanting to help. Because some of the things that I've seen go wrong are things like rehab. How on earth do you rehab long distance, let alone in your backyard, while you have a job and you got kids and all this other stuff, but you want to build cash flow? That's one of the weak points, especially when you're first getting started. How on earth do you put management in place? Do you even know the questions to ask? We now have developed a 7-page questionnaire, or request for proposals, what we call it, that gives you some of the most detailed and crazy questions that you hadn't even thought that you needed to know to begin asking, your property management. But we ask those questions and make sure that we vet them for that very purpose. Why? Because I've been out there, I've lost the money, I've had things go wrong, and you get the leverage of my experience, right? So that those things don't happen again. And it's also about marketplace. It's not not every marketplace can produce cash flow, and you may not realize this. You may think it's okay. Some marketplaces, let's take California for example. Sometimes to produce cash flow, especially in the neighborhood that I live in, you might have to put $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 down on a house. Now that doesn't mean you couldn't, but it does mean a couple of things. That $500,000 is stuck and it's not producing the type of returns that can exceed inflation in most cases. And those are things that become an underutilization of capital. And I want to, again, make sure that you understand that. Understand what is happening to you when you're making these decisions. It's not just about, well, I'll buy this property, that'll do. I can do it better. Okay, long as you understand what's going on when you go through the process. Let me see, what else? Here's the big one. I've seen so many of these programs, and they do well. Some better than others, up to a point. They all leave you hanging after you purchase the darn thing. It's your first property, you don't know up from down, and then they just leave you. There's no after purchase support. So we got together with the team, and I'm like, how do we solve this problem? We created what we call our investor assurance program. Basically, you'll be on the phone with our cash flow coaches once a month to go over what happened in your previous month so that you know how to respond to any sort of emergency. You'll be able to listen to the other buyers, and we'll create this online repository of this is what's happening real time, and you'll get real time assistance with whatever is going on. Not only once a month on the phone, but you've got the online repository, and most importantly, there will be an exclusive and private Facebook group only for obviously those individuals who are part of the investor assurance, and obviously purchasing a property from us isn't necessarily a prerequisite, but it is definitely strongly encouraged and recommended. Additionally, financing can be tough, especially when it's your first time and you're trying to figure it out, and you don't want to take a $500,000 risk or a $200,000 risk. You want to take a small risk. Most of these properties in the marketplace that we're talking about at the moment are between $35,000 and $65,000, and you can start for as little as like $17,500, no more than $30,000 on a property, and we carry the balance of the financing. Now, this is very key. It's non-recourse. What does that mean? You may not have heard that term. That means there's no credit check required. That means you don't need a job. That means you can use a retirement plan. That means if you're an international investor, you qualify. That means we want you in real estate. And understand this, I've still got skin in the game. I'm not just trying to pawn off houses and move on. That's not my goal. My goal is to help you through this process, because I know what happens. I've seen so many people after they make that transition, they change. I can remember helping a gentleman get his first 16-unit building. He's changed. I can remember helping a couple in Northern California get like their first 3 or 4 single-family houses. They've changed completely. Their life changes, their outlook changes, their family changes. And if I can be 0.2% of that change for you, then great. I will feel like I've actually done something meaningful. This creates an easy way to expand. Many of you are busy professionals. I know some of you dentists, doctors, attorneys, etc. high paid salespeople, and you're good at what you do. And I want you to keep doing what you do. I've got a number of investors who do work in the film and entertainment industry. And I don't know about you, but I want them to continue to produce quality entertainment. I don't want them distracted going, I'm worried about my 401k or how am I going to retire and what's going to happen and all this other stuff. I want quality entertainment because there's not enough quality entertainment on TV. And I'll leave the definition of quality all completely up to you. Although I will say Shark Tank is not just entertainment, it's actually an education. Anyway, as I continue, like I said, it's an easy way to expand an existing portfolio. Maybe it took you, 5, 6, 7, 8 years to grow to 8 properties, but now you have a way to get another additional 8 inside of 30 days really quickly. That could help. And there's just all of those pieces, especially once you add the investor assurance and the fact that we've done hundreds of transactions allows us insight into helping people how to develop cash flow long distance, and they get to they get to leverage the teams that we put in place. Now, you don't have to use the teams we put in place, but you should, especially while you're learning. And then go off, duplicate. It's easier it is easier for you to go take a sheet of paper, go down like the Kinko's and use a photocopier and make an exact replica or is very close to it, as opposed to taking a blank sheet of paper and creating something from scratch and making all of those mistakes. Because you've heard me say it before, you can't learn and look good at the same time. And this is a way for you to learn and earn, because typically you're either learning or earning. You're not typically doing both simultaneously, because you've got to make some what I call expensive mistakes at the beginning. And there's nothing wrong with that. I still want you to fail forward, fail fast, fail frequently. You're still going to make other mistakes, but we have the ability to help you eliminate some of them. Now, some of you're probably turned off by now. I don't really know. All I had to say is I wanted to give you an understanding of what begininvestingnow.com is, because you're going to hear that again at the beginning of the show. You're going to hear learn investing now, because some of you just want to learn, you want to do it yourself. Great, totally understood. I had no choice. That was how I had to get in the game. Some of you're like, you know what, I'm busy. I listen to you on the way to work because I get that email from you guys. I get those things. I just want help developing cash flow. How can I just develop cash flow without all that? There's just so much to it, and that's good. And those of you who are likely going to appreciate what we do the most, and that's great. And I want you to do that. I really, really do. So, and you're going to go to begininvestingnow.com. Also, remember, like I said, we got this new nifty text system, which I absolutely love. 949-682-3565. Send a text, send the word property to 949-682-3565. You're going to begin to get notifications. Hey, property is available. We'll call you, or you can call us if you want to make sure you get one. That's basically what's going to happen. We'll call you, but you can call us. And, Carlos and occasionally myself will be on the phone wanting to talk to you guys. I want to know more about how we can help. No better way to do that, in my opinion. And you'll be able to move forward faster. That's the intent. I work at the speed of instruction. I use words like now o'clock. All of those things are there to help me make sure that my family and I get the results that we've gotten. And yeah, that may be uncomfortable for you, but that's okay. Being uncomfortable is how you get to the places you've never been. And that's what I wanted to share with you. But I wanted you to understand it's not just about owning property or making money. Yes, all of those things happen. It's about understanding all of the work that goes behind to create cash flow. Okay, we choose the marketplace. You may not know or have heard of the marketplace. Don't let that get in the way of you learning and earning. Okay, that's the point. I mean, especially the marketplace that we're in right now and that we're going to be talking about. I've been there for 5 years, I believe. Can't tell you how many millions of dollars of transactions that I've done in that same zip code. So all of those things come with better relationships, better ways to get things done. that I'm not saying you couldn't do it. You could. You totally could. It would just take you longer, might cost you a little bit more, but hey, and if that's you, completely fine. You know your situation better than I do. I'm hoping that some of you take us up on the offer. I'm hoping some of you continually take us up on the offer, and that you begin to develop not just you don't have a retirement account, but you finally have a retirement plan. Many people think they have a retirement plan, but they end up just having a retirement account. But the difference I'm making is that account is just sitting there holding money. They don't have a plan on how to leverage or use that money to be able to create a sustainable amount of income. They have no idea how to do that. And if they do, it typically just revolves around saving up a whole bunch of money and then spending it down. And that doesn't work because of the first two things we talked about, inflation and taxes. But now you've got another way. You've got a secret inside resource that allows you to go out there and create something that you may not have thought of before. So again, go over to begininvestingnow.com or send in a text message to 949-682-3565. The word is property. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I'm still excited about the book. Oh, by all means. Send a text message send a text of sample over to 949-682-3565. I know this episode's a little different than most of the ones that we've done, but it was on my mind. I haven't talked directly to you guys in a while, and I figured maybe they'll enjoy it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out by how many times you guys download, how many text messages come in, and how many people you refer to the show, etc., and how many emails we get saying that was good, or how many reviews on iTunes. Guys, we need some reviews, by the way. How many reviews on iTunes we see. So hopefully, I hope you still found value. I hope you still found value inside everything that I said, even though I introduced a service to you, even though I'm asking you to do business with us. Even though all of those things happened, I'm hoping you were able to still find value, whether you choose to actually do business or not. I do believe you learned something today. Anyway, I will talk to all of you guys soon. Until next time.
Thank you for investing your time with Jay Massey and the Cash Flow Diary. When you have a moment, please visit iTunes and leave a positive comment about the show. And go now to our website, cashflowdiary.com, to take advantage of our free business building course, Cash Flow Foundation. Gain the knowledge, understanding, and skill that will teach you how to never need a job again. Until next time.